Chapter 3 The Ultimate Path of Mahayana. The Buddha told Subhuti, all Bodhisattva Mahasattvas should thus subdue their minds, for all categories of sentient beings, whether born from eggs, from wombs, from moisture, or by transformation, those with form, those without form, those with mental activity, those without mental activity, and those neither with nor without mental activity, I shall lead them all into the ultimate nirvana without reminder, to be liberated forever. Yet, though countless infinite beings are thus liberated, in reality, not a single being has been liberated. Why is this, Subhuti? If a Bodhisattva clings to the appearance of a self, a person, a being, or a lifespan, then they're not a true Bodhisattva. Before we dive into this chapter, let's clarify a few concepts. The Buddha categorized all sentient beings in various forms with the triple realm system. First, the four forms of birth in the desire realm: egg-born, womb-born, moisture-born, and transformation-born. Egg-born refers to the beings hatched from eggs, such as birds. Womb-born refers to those nurtured in a womb, such as humans. Moisture-born refers to the beings arising from damp conditions, like certain insects. Transformation-born refers to the beings manifested purely by karmic force, such as heavenly beings. Next, with form refers to the beings in the form realm, who possess physical bodies but are free from sensory desires. Without form refers to the beings in the formless realm, where beings exist as pure consciousness, with neither sensory desires nor physical bodies. Further, the three states regarding mental activity classifies the subtle states of beings in the formless realm. With mental activity means active thinking. Without mental activity means thinking has ceased, yet the being is not inert like wood or stone. Neither with nor without mental activity describes a state where active thought has stopped, yet a subtle potential for thought remains. Though these life forms vary immensely, they share one condition. They are all trapped in samsara, the circle of birth and death, unable to attain liberation. Yet, they also share one identical essence, their Buddha nature. In this essence, they're complete, unborn, and undying. The script mentions two key states of nirvana, a Sanskrit term for the state of liberation beyond birth and death. The Arhat's nirvana state is called nirvana with reminder. Although arhats who have attained the fourth stage of enlightenment can dwell in deep meditation for a long time, when the necessary conditions are met, they will still emerge from meditation and re-enter the circle of samsara. The Buddha's nirvana state is ultimate nirvana without reminder. It is a complete liberation from the illusion of birth and death, attaining eternal great freedom. Next, let's look at the four appearance. What is the appearance of a self or a ego? Everyone has a definition of me, composed of 6 senses, and is absolutely unique. Although we are born as humans, our consciousness holds the seeds of 6 realms, or the 6 paths in the desire realm. When we feel hatred or jealousy, we are in the Asura realm. When we seek purity and holiness, we are in the heavenly realm. In extreme suffering, we are in the hell realm. But if you define yourself as a being of any realm, then you are in the wrong view. The truth is, you are a Buddha, capable of manifesting any form without hindrance. But through attachment and ignorance, we are constantly dragged around by karmic force into different and limited identities. Any definition cognition, sensations, or attachment to this internal or external self is the appearance of a self. In reality, the self is an illusion. Then, what is the appearance of a person? The appearance of a person, or the others, refers to our definition, cognition, and experience towards others, viewing them as real entities to be liked, hated, or possessed. The appearance of a being refers to believing the various life forms in the triple realm system who experience samsara and unable to return to their Buddha nature as truly separate and unique beings. The appearance of lifespan is the attachment to time and space, the span between birth and death. We crave longevity and fear death. Clinging to the appearance of lifespan is similar to clinging to the rising and falling of all phenomena. In essence, the Buddha told Subhuti to achieve supreme enlightenment, a great bodhisattva must first give rise to great compassion and vow to liberate all beings in the triple realms, regardless of the form in which sentient beings are born, whether they possess a physical body or whatever mental state they may be in. One vows to liberate them, guiding them into the Buddha state of nirvana, where there is neither birth nor death, and freeing them from the circle of samsara. Yet, even after liberating infinite beings, a bodhisattva must realize, in reality, not a single being has attained Buddhahood through my salvation. Why? Because a true bodhisattva cannot have the discrimination of a self, an other, or sentient beings. One cannot cling to the rising and falling of phenomena or the craving for longevity. Why did the Buddha talk about liberating all beings in the beginning of the teaching? Because seeking Buddhahood means returning to the source of life. From that source, our mind encompasses the entire universe. Every mind is a holographic microcosm of all sentient beings. Therefore, when a person vows to attain Buddhahood, it also means that they are aspiring to liberate all sentient beings throughout the universe, thus spreading the Dharma and saving all sentient beings becomes the mission of every great bodhisattva. Therefore, we should also understand that a bodhisattva's mission in this world is not merely to engage charitable works, but to help sentient beings realize the true nature of life and lead them out of the samsara sea of suffering. The principle of never neglecting even the smallest act of kindness is a quality essential to every bodhisattva on the path to enlightenment. However, when a bodhisattva awakens the aspiration to save all sentient beings, this vow should be impartial and touches all sentient beings in the three realms. Also, you should not cling to the notion of self or others, otherwise the suffering and affliction of a bodhisattva will arise. You must realize the right view, that you and all beings are already Buddhas. Their nature is already nirvanic, still, unborn and undying. It is not you who grants them this essence. A bodhisattva to a sentient being is like a medicine to a disease in a dream. Once awake, both the medicine and the disease are revealed as illusionary. In the true emptiness, there is neither bodhisattva nor sentient beings. With this right view, a bodhisattva serves without seeking reward or recognition. One will not be disturbed by various states manifested by sentient beings, and can dwell in a state of unchanging stillness. I remember when I first read this, I looked at a fly on the wall and thought, the Buddha says I must vow to lead this egg-born fly into ultimate nirvana. I stared at the fly and despaired. If I must wait for this fly to attain Buddhahood, How long will that take? Suddenly, I understood. I was clinging to the appearance of the fly. If I see myself and the fly as solid, separate entities, I will not only fail to save the fly, but I will drown in the sea of my own burdensome aspiration. If I cling to the appearance of beings, I will be dragged through the circles of samsara repeatedly by that very attachment. All beings share the same perfect emptiness. The fly and I are both manifestations of true emptiness. With this right view, the fly remains a fly, but my mind is settled. I am no longer anxious about my vow. The fact we must realize after this chapter is this. Every being, in essence, can only be a Buddha. They cannot be anything else. The self, others, and lifespan are only discriminations of the mind. A bodhisattva must make vows without clinging to appearance. Otherwise, the vow to save all sentient beings will only lead you down a path of suffering, and you won't be able to attain supreme, perfect enlightenment through the active practice of saving sentient beings in the human realm.